This is our banana patch. Several varieties of bananas growing in here. Dorfnam was ice cream bananas, Thai bananas. I think those are Goldfingers, and I think I have apple bananas in there as well. I have a calamansi tree here that I planted. It was really small and it just took off. This has only been in the ground for a year and a half or so, and it's getting pretty big. So those are some bananas I have there. I have a couple bundles that are pushing out, that are developing, and I'm gonna start having to sell these pups because they're getting pretty big, and they're quite vigorous. They're huge plants, as you can see. I mean, from the ground all the way to the tip, I would imagine it's about, maybe it's about 30 feet, 25, 30 feet, give or take. Back here I have a Pheno cherimoya that has rooted into the ground from the pot. And I don't really care much for cherimoyas. I'm more of an athemoya guy. And so I just kind of left it as is. But Pheno is actually a really good variety. I do enjoy the cherimoya fruit. Certain ones, not the ones you buy at the grocery stores, because those tends to either be all over ripened or under ripened, and I could never seem to table ripen it correctly, and so wind up having this weird musky smell to it. I'm not sure if anyone can relate to that, but here's the athemoya tree we have. This is an African pride. There's plenty of fruit on this tree. These are all hand pollinated, and this tree is about 6 years old, and I keep it pretty heavily trimmed every year. And the reason why it's not as big as it should be is because we had moved about 4 or 5 years ago, and I brought this guy over, and it took a couple years, if not more, to get established and acclimated, because when I removed it, the root ball kind of lost a lot of mass. So but now it's established, and next year it's going to get huge. And in fact, I have a hard time keeping up with it. I gotta keep it trimmed, or else it's going to just overtake this area. Overlooking here, we have a bear's lime with some pomelos hiding on there, and then some orange hiding in there, and then some tangerines, which I'll take you guys through to see closer. But it's a multi-grafted variety, or I'm sorry, bear's lime, and there's plenty of fruit. These are tangerines, mandarins of different varieties that I've grafted on. Got some kefir lime. So multi-grafting is a really good way to conserve on space. These are pomelos, getting to be some decent size. So right here, it's actually a lot of stuff grown in this small area. So I'm not sure how it's gonna do, and I might regret it later on. But the tree's already established, so I don't want to remove them yet or now, because it might not survive the transplant. This is Sweetheart lychee, and it produced much more than it produced last year for sure. Still not to the level that I wanted to, because the tree's still aging, still growing, and I do expect next year to be a fruitful year. But the fruit's really good. It's super sweet, super small seeds, and it's planted right next to a red rocket wax jambu. Here's another pomelo tree. So you can see I really like pomelos. This is a different variety. It's very yummy. Okay, this is a star fruit tree, Camarola. This is Sri Kamagan. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I might be butchering that, but this year it didn't really fruit at all. Last year, fruit a lot. I mean, the whole tree was fruited, completely filled with fruit. So maybe it's alternating years. I have some new growth on, some really pretty growth on our Saigon dupias. And then we're grafting some additional things like maha, cachu, sanpari. So hopefully some of these will take. This is my manila multi-graft, and this is the Satsuma mandarin. Here I have some yellow passion fruit that is supposed to taste like bubble gum, but we'll see. So this is a finger grape variety that I've grafted onto my black manuka grape rootstock, and as you can see, the graft has taken. So we do expect to get some nice grapes next year. So here are my rows of trees that are in containers. I leave them out here to take in the sun. Here is my what is this? This is a Mayer's lemon, I think, and Myers lemon, I guess you can pronounce it like that. But it is a very fruitful tree. The fruits are really big, nice yellow with thick rinds that you can use for cooking. So a lot of the baking and things like that, you can use the rinds to add a citrusy, like a zest flavor onto it. I have some sumo mandarins grafted onto it. I will be doing some more grafting on that guy soon. So here is my Taiwanese seedless guava. This is getting to be pretty common. It used to be pretty rare, but this tree actually holds fruit pretty well. This year though, it hasn't really flowered or fruited much, though I've kind of been neglecting it a bit. So here's my roll of collectibles. So I got some Patagatuba, I got some Patoba, I have a multi-grafted citrus tree, which has like 10 different varieties of different kinds of pomelos I've collected from the UCR agricultural citrus clonal protection program that we've collected citrus scion from, you know, a lot of different parts of the world. And you know, here for example I have a sunburst mandarin, and there's some sweet oranges, and so each of them have about 5 or 6 different varieties onto it. Let's see what else we got going on here. I have this Hychia persimmon seedling that is doing really well. All of this is new growth. It used, at the beginning of the season, it was only this high, and it was a thin little like branch like that, and as you can see, it's doing really well. I have some koala longans, I have some red jaboticabas, I have a limpy, it's doing really well. What else? I'm rattling on now. I'm just gonna try and name some stuff I have, see if anyone recognizes it. Some Geffner Atemoya, I have a pawpaw, trying to graft the pawpaw to the Atemoya. I don't think that'll work, but we'll try it. Let's see, I have some PPC, though I've heard this is fake PPC. It's not the real thing. The real thing is supposed to be more circular. This one's more elongated. I have kapong, red sugar apples. These are some stuff I have for sale. Some more kampong. Some mango seedlings I use for grafting. What else? Let's see, I have pineapple, Royal Poinsettia. I have a sugar apple that have actually fruited. This is soursop, Yama, Red Rocket, Wax Jambu, Rose Apple, Chempedak, the real thing, not the cross, the China like I have in the front yard, bigger tree. Let's see, so I got some red sugar apples, seedlings coming out quite a bit actually, and yeah, just a bunch of stuff in there. Let's see what else. I have a Sabra, Chabacaba, and over here I have a trellis of dragon fruit that's coming up, and followed by a very established acerola cherry that is very fruitful. It fruits year-round. The fruits are delicious and they are big. These ones are actually quite small compared to the size it can get. Air layering a couple plants right now. This is Wax Jambu. This is the Black Diamond. It's a very fruitful variety. Takes a really long time to ripen though, I notice. Maybe because in my area I don't get a whole lot of sun and heat, so it takes longer to ripen than most what do you call it, other people that are growing this variety. But yeah, this is Wax Jambu. Oh. Excuse me while I'm eating this acerola. So what we're looking at is the backyard. Here's some Matemoyas. Very fruitful. Here's my tomato plant. It's a special tomato. But here's a Royal Poinsettia again, some jackfruit seedlings that have started. I have meringue in there. I don't know what else I have in there. It's all over the place. This is a longan. This is a Florida brown skin variety. It's supposed to be really large fruit, really sweet. So we'll see. In the front yard, I have koala and a seedling that I planted. Hopefully it'd be a good variety. This is a what is this, guys? This is a Cherry of the Rio Grande. That's what I was looking for. Big tree, very productive this year though. The birds basically got to it. I grow it for fun mainly. I mean, I enjoy the fruit too. It's a delicious fruit, but you know, I don't crave for it or anything like that. And it's a beautiful tree. Look at the trunk. It has a very guava, eucalyptus feel to it. Smooth skin, and the skin would peel off like right here, right? And as the tree gets older and matures, it's a really beautiful tree. I like it a lot. And I just grow it for the shade, the canopy, and obviously the fruits too, when I do get some fruits off of it. Here is a Thai jumbo jujube. This is its second year in the ground and it's doing really well. So I trimmed it quite a bit. I cut off a bunch of side branches. I wanted to promote the growth, the center. Here are some dragon fruit trellis that I recently put in just to have a cleaner growing experience, I guess you can call it, with dragon fruit, because I've tried previously in the past, and you know what I find is it gets a little wild. It gets too big, you know, too much, and I wind up having to just cut it and get rid of it just because it's thorns everywhere and it would just overtake an entire area. So this is a lot cleaner to grow it. You just grow it up in the trellis, and then it's just gonna kind of, what do you call it, spread out from the top, and then you just kind of trim it every year and it will stay well maintained that way and it'll fruit better that way, in my opinion. So all right, so that's the front yard, I'm sorry, that's the backyard, the side yard, and we are going to the front yard too.